I think she purposely ignored the red flags in an attempt to get this kind of story time. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Sasha, and here is where I dive deep into influencer culture to call them out for their crappy behaviors. Today I have a story time for you, and it's a prime example of an influencer taking a story and crossing so many boundaries in the pursuit of fame and virality. We're going to be discussing Meghan Moore's Who the Heck Was I Dating story time, and we're going to be dissecting her entire attempt to channel her inner internet sleuth true crime girly. And I want to show you guys the stark differences behind motives and tone and delivery, and maybe the reason why Meg's story time flopped and got dirty deleted and others went super viral. This story is wildly unhinged and has everything from her original story time to her 18 some odd page PowerPoint presentation about this guy and all the messiness in between. I'm warning you now, brace yourself, because the secondhand embarrassment be real throughout this story. Let's go, guys. So first, let's talk about the original Who the Did I Marry storytime saga that went viral back in February of 2024. A TikToker named Risa Teresa released a 50-part series, 8 hours long, depicting this roller coaster of a marriage that she ended up in and ultimately exposes her ex-husband for being a pathological liar. It was messy and real and raw, and it had people hooked until the very end. And she has the views on all 50 parts to back it up. And this is a prime example of TikTok rewarding a good story time, someone who can hook an audience and keep them coming back for more. We saw the same thing happen with Rug Talk Lady back in fall of 2024 when she went viral, because she had that energy and that draw that kept people hooked and asking for more, and she knew the right amount to tease to keep people interested. That's how you create a good storytime series on TikTok. So now I'm going to play for you Teresa's intro video of her 50-part story time. It's, like I said, it's like 8 hours long, so we're obviously not going to watch it here. It's all on TikTok in its own little folder, so I highly recommend you go and watch the series because it is a really good story. Nonetheless, a lot of people listen to it as audiobooks. But I want to play the first TikTok for you guys now, the intro of the story time, because there's some key pieces of information that she says throughout it that I want you guys to hold on to. And I think this is a huge contrast in motives behind why Teresa was posting and why Meg ended up posting her story time.
Hi, and welcome. We all know why you're here. You're here for part of the new series that I am calling Who the Fuck Did I Marry? I'm going to create this playlist series, and I'm going to tell the story of how I met, dated, married, and divorced a real pathological liar. This is my introduction / disclaimer video. First and foremost, I'm going to be truthful, even if it makes me look bad. I'm going to be honest, but I'm also not going to be disrespectful to anyone that was involved. I'm not going to use people's real names because I don't have their permission to do so, and the sister does not want any sort of litigation. I will tell you off the top, I have a sense of humor and I have sarcasm. So things that you see me laughing at, none of this is funny. But in order to get through it, I have to laugh. If I cry, I cry. I'm human. I'm a woman. This was traumatic. I'm going to do the best I can to upload as much of the story as I can, because I know people get so annoyed with the follow for part 4, follow me for part 17. I'm just going to do the best I can to keep uploading the videos each at a time. I'm going to go in order from the time we met until the time I got our divorce decree in the mail. So that is a lot of time to cover. Please give me the grace to just get it out. It may not be all in one day. It may not be all in 2 days. But what I can tell you is, even if you don't necessarily see a video, I'm probably recording it and then I will upload it into the playlist titled, Who the Fuck Did I Marry? What else do I need to cover ahead of time? Because I feel like this video is important to give some sort of context. So that way when people jump into the series, they kind of can figure out, oh, let me start at the introduction video and then work my way through. A lot of the questions that you all have sent me will be answered when I start and tell the story in order. Everything I'm going to tell you can be verified. There are people in my life who can easily verify, yes, this did happen. Yes, he really did do that. Yes, he said that. Yes, she did go through that. I have no contact whatsoever with my ex-husband in any way, shape, or form. We do not communicate. We do not have mutual friends or anything where we communicate through those people. No contact. I cannot stress that enough because I feel like somebody's going to ask me, do you still talk to him? No. I ain't seen him. I ain't heard from him. I don't want to hear from him. And I will tell the entire story up until the last time I did hear from him and what happened. Yeah, this is my story. So, I am just a regular woman who thought she met the one, and I didn't. Most people have never came in contact with a pathological liar. We typically come in contact with like a compulsive liar. It is not the same. A pathological liar has no reason for why they lie. And the lies that they make up, there's no limit to the lie. I was once a psychology major in undergrad. I didn't graduate with a psychology degree, but I'm very comfortable saying that he was a pathological liar. He was a narcissist. And yes, there was some in my opinion, mental health issues going on. Pathological lying part, absolutely. So I want to preface all this by saying, you're going to probably think, what in the world? There's no way this happened. Everything you're going to hear me say actually did happen. I never thought I was going to be in some sort of Lifetime movie, but I was. So I will read the comments as best I can. Like I said, I think if you allow me to tell the whole story, things will be answered. And sorry, I do talk with my hands. It's a coping mechanism. So if you're like, why is she moving her hands? Other than that, let's all take a deep breath, buckle in, because this was a fucking crazy ride. And if you think it's crazy, imagine how I feel as the person who lived it and had no idea what I was dealing with. I thought I knew, but I truly had no idea who the fuck I married. You like how I twisted that? Anyway. All right, y'all. This is the introduction, so welcome. Part 1 will be up shortly.
But since we don't have time to go into the entire 52 parts, I do have a Reddit comment that summarized the entire story time perfectly. TikTok user Risa Teresa uploaded a 50-part, 500-minute saga detailing how she was deceived into marrying someone who seemed to be a pathological liar. The story could have been shorter or longer, but it fully detailed a relationship that lasted from early 2020 to 2022. Many people listened to her story like an audiobook, and the length certainly helps Risa earn more money than she would if she made the story shorter. TikTok incentivizes videos over 1 minute long, and each of Risa's videos are 10 minutes. There's nothing exceptional in the videos beyond the typical scandals and emotions of dealing with a pathological liar. But Risa is a strong storyteller who explains how deceptive some liars can be. She also expresses relatable feelings of swallowing some doubt because she desperately wanted love, and how she is trying to forgive herself and rebuild her confidence. Risa's ex claimed to be an ex-arena football player, current VP of a condiment company department, but it turns out that he was a temporary forklift driver using a fraudulent SSN who has a criminal record and who may have been trying to pass himself off as his twin brother. So that summarizes it perfectly, and obviously there are a ton of juicy details that go along with all of the emotional dealings, the manipulation, whole 9 yards. So I will have her TikTok linked down in the description box below. Go check it out if that's something that interests you and you're looking for a new lengthy story time to listen to. But naturally, after a viral moment, it tends to spark some other viral trends. And the story time that I heard was the story of Casey Mullen, who recently went viral for her Who TF Was I Dating saga mini-series.
Never mind, he was on Hinge, looking for a life partner in a long-term relationship. After he told me he wanted to marry me multiple times, of course.
Hers was considerably shorter, only being about 10 parts long, but it was very heartbreaking and gut-wrenching to listen to, and you can tell that she was genuinely hurt by this man's actions.
I would love to come on here and make a story time about my experience with this person. This person was not a stranger to me. I'm not from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I live in New Hampshire. I've known this person for like 20 years. This is us at our 8th grade graduation dance, for proof. I could have never imagined the amount of attention that video got. I couldn't even believe the situation before I put it online and received over 100 messages and comments about women having a similar experience with this person. And as much as I would love to share the details of my story and expose them, if you will, one, it just happened like a few days ago. Like I just found all this information out. It's so painful to relive that online. I want to make sure I tell the story with a clear head if I ever decide to share. And the details are just like horrific. I know some people might think that that's dramatic, but truly the way that this person tricked me into loving them and being in a full-blown relationship with them, the way he used the same phrases and copy and pasted messages that he sent to other girls, like, it's all a lie. And if I'm being honest, like, this person is going to be close to me in the next week, like where I live, and I just don't feel safe putting everything out online knowing that right now. I truly believe that this person lacks empathy in a very serious way. No normal person is able to do what he did to me, to anyone. I don't know, I'm smiling, but it is so painful to have experienced what I experienced with this person, to think that we shared something so real and that I was ready for a life with this person. I truly, truly cared about them. And to just have all this stuff come to the surface is so painful. I don't know. I just wish I hope they get help, and I hope that this never happens to anybody ever again.
And weirdly enough, this was a guy that she had known for a long time. I'm pretty sure they knew each other back in high school, lost touch, and reconnected in adulthood, and she thought he was the one. And overall, it's a really heartbreaking story to listen to, and you can feel the raw emotion behind it and just how hurt she really is. And the key things that I want you guys to take away from the 2 intro story times that I showed you is the tone and the vibes and the energy behind it, and start to think about the motives behind why someone would share these types of stories online. For Risa, she's a powerful storyteller, and she was telling her story from her angle, how it affected her, and one of those what to look out for. Here's how good someone can be at deceiving you, so just be careful who you decide to trust, who you decide to marry. However, given all of the stuff that this man put her through over about a 2-year span, she still chose to keep his identity a secret because she didn't have consent to share his name with TikTok. I guess she asked and said, I'm going to be sharing our story. And he said, don't share my name, whatever. And she's like, I'm not about that. I don't want any legalities. I don't want anything to come my way. So sure. Because that's not the point of the story. The point of the story isn't to be this mean girl who's trying to hurt someone. It's to educate people on how people you trust can be deceptive, how people can fool you, and some red flags to look out for. Now, if we go back to Casey, she did say the guy's name. But from my understanding, this guy had been scamming so many women. I don't even remember what the number was. He was having an emotional affair with more than one woman and was saying that he was in a committed relationship with Casey. I'm pretty sure they were like together, committed to each other. And not only that, but he got a ton of hits on the Facebook site, Are We Dating the Same Guy or Same Man, whatever it is. And when someone is scamming and hurting so many people and getting away with it, or having gotten away with it for so long, and shows no remorse, shows no signs of stopping, well, I understand name dropping in that case. It makes sense. There was proof that he'd done this to more than one woman. There was proof that he was still doing it to more than one woman after being called out in the past. So I understand name dropping in that case as well. It makes sense. In my opinion, that's a girl's girl thing to do. Protect other women from scuzzball men who are scamming women and having emotional affairs with 800 different people. It makes sense to share the story with the name. So both of those stories have power, have value, and I want to compare and contrast them to Meg's dumpster fire of a clout goblin time. That's all I can say. It's very telling that she's deleted parts of this story time. We'll say that much. She kicks off the whole saga with this TikTok saying, oh my God, who was I dating? And goes on to, share a little bit of her experience.
I just found out that the guy that I've been dating is married. Let me backtrack. I'm on the apps. I was on Hinge. Matched with a guy. He was cute from South Africa. Okay? I like an accent. Hi. Very nice. Calls me all the time. Texts me nonstop. We've gone on 3 dates. Okay? We've gone on 3 dates. Okay. I finally figured out his last name because he doesn't have social media. And I never really asked. I don't want to be like texting him. What's your last name? What's your social security? Now I'm going to. I'm home. I have Truth Finder. I pay the subscription because, I just want to know what's everyone's background. And I didn't look until today when I got home. I pull up his thing, possible relatives, in-laws, as a girl with his last name. So I type in, I click on her, same address, figure out her maiden name, type it in, their wedding website pops up. They got married last year in South Africa. And it just feels so fucking gross. I would never, ever date anybody like this. So I immediately sent him the wedding website, texted him. No answer. That he leaves about pitch right away. Text him, when are you gonna tell me you're married? No response. I look at his wife on Instagram. He blocked her from my big Instagram. You know, my ID with like 90,000 followers. I have a bunch of Instagrams. I did not do a good job with my makeup. Oh my god. Only blocked me on my personal, like my big one. Kind of screenshot that and I say, unless you want to tell your wife, you need to tell me what's going on. He calls me right away. I can't answer because I was actually busy at the time. Called me 2 minutes later and he's just like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. La, la, la. I'm going through a really hard time. She's so mean to me. I said, it's disgusting. You're gross. You know I just went through a traumatizing divorce and like I would never, ever in a million years do this. Like what the? I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do it again or not. I don't know. Figuring it out. So what do you guys think I should do? Oh, ignore my air fryer. I'm making me lunch. Gotta get this off my chest. Should I tell her that he's cheating on her?
And that's where she reveals that they had only been on 3 dates, not a relationship. You can't even argue that that's a situationship. That's a nothing ship is what that is. That's 3 dates. There was 0 commitment, but I'm pretty sure they were hooking up, which is really gross. Looking at what she presented and the clout seeking, I feel like she hooked up with him to get certain intel. I don't know, guys. But a big thing that stuck out to me in this and then in the PowerPoint presentation that we're gonna watch, you know, her PowerPoint expose of this guy, was her energy levels and her almost giddiness behind all of this. Like she's giggly and playing this dumb blonde and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I know, I should have known, I should have seen the red flags. And in my opinion, I think she purposely ignored the red flags in an attempt to get this kind of story time. And when it backfired on her, she just deleted it and kind of moved on. That is a disgusting thing to do to someone. I hope these people sue her or like come at her or she gets some sort of repercussions because that's not okay what she did. And we'll get further into it. From the get-go, it feels like clout goblin, clout seeking behavior. I know that this has gone viral before and this is my story, and then she's trying to have that energy to keep people hooked, I feel, but it wasn't. It was, she missed the mark hard. So like I said, she seemingly ignored all of the red flags. He was wearing a red wedding ring, but told her that his dad died and he just wears the wedding ring.
He told me his dad died when he was 7 and he wears his ring, okay? That's right. Moron.
When she allegedly asked him, you know, you're too good to be true. You have to have a wife and kids at home. He freaked out. Why would you say that?
Yesterday on our 3rd date, I was like, you just are like, I feel like you're too good to be true. I'm like, you have to have a wife and kids at home. Like, this is crazy. Like, I don't know. There's something about you. And he's like, why would you say that? No. I could never. You know how much I want a family. Because he would say all the right things. He'd say, oh, I was raised by my stepdad. Right, Bubba? I want to have my own kids and I could have some stepkids.
Well, doesn't this woman go on to make a huge PowerPoint? And not only that, not only does she make a PowerPoint exposing this guy's first and last name, the fact that he's uncircumcised, where he lives, what he does for work, all of it, finds his wife's name. I'm pretty sure she name drops his wife too.
Sisters live there. Okay, so I found out his last name thanks to Love Island. So I was at the hotel and it wasn't connected to the TV, so I grabbed my computer and to log in, you gotta have the last name of the room number to log into the Wi-Fi. So I found out his last name. See that? Truth finder. See, there's Joshua. Possible spouse. Yeah, confused. The end of his life, she blocked me. I texted her and blocked me, so I messaged her older sister.
And it's all summarized in a freaking PowerPoint presentation that she presents at the salon that she manages at. And it's this whole gossip sesh. And it's really weird vibes and energy. And I understand if someone went through this and it was traumatic and talking with the girl, stuff like that. But she made a PowerPoint presentation and presented it to her coworkers at work, seemingly in the middle of the day. And then someone filmed it and she decided to post it. It's one thing to go to your friends and be like, oh my God, I was dating this guy and it was awful and his name's this and his wife and this. That's one thing. Get it off your chest. Like she said in the OG story time, I just need to get this off my chest. But to go out of your way to dox someone, to humiliate them, and not even consider the other parties involved is such toxic clout goblin behavior that it just makes you fear for the world we live in. Because anyone can take any story and twist it for their attempt at a viral moment and ruin someone else's life. Now, if this guy is cheating, let's say this is true, this guy's cheating on his wife, he's a piece of shit, right? But his wife is a victim in all of this. not a plot twist in Meg's story, which is what she made her out to be. That's not fair for the wife, and that's not considering how all of this might be impacting her, how this might be ruining her life. And you attempted to go viral off of it, off of her trauma, because you had a couple dates with a guy, because you ignored red flags like him wearing a wedding ring. Okay, so this woman literally took the time to make this extensive PowerPoint presentation to drag this guy through the mud. And for some reason, she thought it was cute to blur out his face and his name and, can't share this detail. But as it's jumping around and as the transitions are turning, she shows his face. She shows most of his name multiple times too. So effectively doxing this man. And again, if he is a cheater, he does deserve to be called out. And you should absolutely tell your wife. That is a girl's girl mentality. You go tell the other woman that she is being cheated on, and they can do what they will with that, which is what Meg did do. And she got blocked. Now, her job was to leave it at that, not take it to social media and blast this all over the internet. Sometimes when people get hit with catastrophic news, like your husband's cheating on you, I'm the other woman, they're not in a good mental headspace to reach out and have a chit chat back and forth. Oh, ha, 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 wow, I can't believe he'd do this. No, her marriage is ending. It's not okay. And all throughout this PowerPoint presentation that she does at work, they're giggling, they're laughing, and it's really just this toxic, mean girl energy. It's not this whole scorned woman, this whole I got my heart shattered and broken in a million pieces. It was almost like this, look how dumb I was to fall for this, ha 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 ha, but this guy's a piece of shit, here's all the embarrassing stuff about him. And also backhandedly insulted farmers at the same time. Like, what's your problem with farmers?
Meeting with the regional manager of Microsoft. Are you ready to know what he really does? It's what Haley can't say. Guess what his real job is, guys?
No idea.
It's
Garbage.
yes. Really? What? He's a farmer.
Shut it.
What does he do? I get the full PowerPoint.
What the heck? Guess what he does for work? I don't know, garbage work? And she goes, yes, he's a farmer. What? Farmers are some of the hardest working people on this planet. And literally, we would die without farmers. And you're here making backhanded comments like that? Like, come on. Entitled much? And even at that, hey, this guy's shady. Hey, whatever, simple post, fine. Or her first story time where she was like, yeah, I was dating this guy. Here's the red flags I noticed. I was dumb. But then to go and do this whole PowerPoint and post it to the internet, it was like a TED Talk. She's walking around with a laptop in her hand doing this TED Talk and like presenting, and it just really gross. And ultimately that PowerPoint wasn't about justice or exposing him so that it never happens to another woman. No, it was about making fun of him and humiliating him and effectively his wife, and crossing every ethical, moral boundary that you possibly could in the pursuit of virality. After she dropped the original, I just found out the guy I was dating is married, she ends it with, should I tell the wife? Which is one of the comments that she responded to. She said she was already blocked on her big Instagram, which makes her think that the guy was controlling the wife's account and trying to prevent this whole connection from happening.
So I DM'd her, on Facebook, and I DM'd her on Instagram. I got blocked. But guys, let's flip it and reverse it. When I tried to look her up originally on my main Instagram, I was blocked, which makes me think he controls it. But I have her phone number. So we shall see. Night nights. Also, I guess she's super close to her sister for my social media stalking, and I might message the sister because it's clear that he's trying to block all this from happening. It's really sick.
But she has the wife's phone number. Weird vibes. And overall, it just really felt like she was lacking compassion for the wife that was involved and didn't care and was just trying to seek her viral moment. And when things weren't going her way, when she wasn't getting the support or traction that she was expecting, she deleted it. Social media loves drama, but quickly that can get super toxic with influencers taking advantage and milking any situation for attention. The original Who TF Am I Dating? Did I Marry? stories were impactful because they were real and raw, whereas Meg's feels forced and with different motives behind it. It's like a cheap knockoff Wish version of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Swing and a miss. And those clips that we saw show you exactly that. She didn't have proper motives behind sharing this story. She was doing it for the attention, and that's it. Not for protecting someone else, not for letting the other wife know. She was doing it because she felt hurt and effed over, even though she walked right into it. But you didn't need to humiliate someone and ruin their entire life in the pursuit of justice for yourself. Reaching out and telling the wife, absolutely. She deserves to know. Blasting it all over the internet, not where it's at. A really good question to ask yourself when you come across these type of viral story times is, who is potentially getting hurt in the quest for likes? Someone like Risa did it really well, where she protected the man's identity. He can still go on and have a good pathological lying life for the most part, but she protected his dignity and his identity. And Casey focused on the hurt and the harms that were done upon her and other women without completely trashing this person. She exposed him because it needed to be done so that he would stop hurting more people. But it wasn't this whole humiliate them and ruin their life at all costs. So we'll see what comes of this story. Meg wanted her 15 minutes of fame and it didn't go the way she planned. And she dirty deleted the story time. Well, the one story time, the PowerPoint, which good, because that probably should have never been filmed. And why was it being filmed? They were at a salon, working, doing this presentation. Choices were made. We'll see if any consequences come from it. But let me know your thoughts down below. How did you feel about the original story times versus this one? And do you agree that it was just seeking out those 15 minutes of fame, no matter who it hurt along the way? That's the vibes I'm picking up for sure, because I really feel as though she put herself in this situation and chose to continue dating this person to expose him, knowing that something was up. All of that is just playing up the story time of her being the victim, and she's not. If anything, she's just dumb. And don't ignore red flags, maybe. But share your thoughts down below. I always love hearing what you guys have to say. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.